This is Jack Daniel's safe, and stick around to find out how this caused his death.
It really makes me wonder. Yeah, it makes me wonder. Oh, I wonder. Oh, I just wonder.
That's annoying. We've just turned up at the Jack Daniel's Distillery, very excited, and the first thing we noticed was a sign that says no camera bags, so we're going to have to carry all of our equipment today. That's going to be fun, isn't it, Lawrence?
Yes. So as Natalie just said, we are here at the Jack Daniel's Distillery
In Lynchburg, Tennessee.
Lynchburg, Tennessee. The drive from Smyrna was amazing. It was very nice, actually, very pleasant.
Pretty, yeah.
It was a very pretty drive. So it was about an hour away. So, but we thought we were in Tennessee. How can we not go and have some Tennessee whiskey? So Jack Daniel's is the one that was closest, and obviously it's probably the most well known. And yeah, so the best bit about all of this, Natalie's agreed to drive home. Bonus. Yeah, the first thing you notice is the smell. It smells really nice, almost like a bakery.
Hungry. Yes. It does. Oh, wheat. Yeah. It must be like a wheat.
Yeah, it's wheat. Barley.
That's why I'm hungry.
Anyway.
Okay.
Right.
Hi. Chocolate bacon. I'm very excited about this. We could be here for a long time, Lawrence.
I don't understand, how have we never had chocolate bacon?
I don't know.
I love chocolate and I love bacon and I love whiskey. Wonder if they do chocolate bacon whiskey.
Well, I did have a boiled peanut the other day. That's very southern, isn't it? It is. Yes, it is. That was a very strange texture.
Engineer, where are you headed? Carry me back to Tennessee. Oh, I got a little girl who's been waiting. Promised that she'd marry me. Mister, can we leave that seat? I'll shovel coal, Lord, to pay my.
We got one red light, which is 2 blocks away from us, and this is still a dry county from the times of Prohibition. So, yes, crazy, ironic, but true. So the distillery has been given tours here at Jack since 1964. We've only legally been allowed to sell you whiskey here on premises as of 1995. If you were to have come here prior to 95, you couldn't buy it here, you couldn't sample it here. The state of Tennessee changed all that. So back in 95, they signed and passed a new legislation law, and this law allowed anybody throughout the state that made a product to be able to sell it on their premises as long as it was made there and as long as it involved agriculture. In order to make whiskey, we got to use grain, and there's the loophole to the agricultural legislation law, and now you can buy whiskey here and only here inside the visitor center in the bottle shop. Just any hand sanitizer we've got sitting around here today, you have used this right here because it's all the homemade product and it's made with this right here. Now I know what's your next question. Can I lick my hand? Well, it's your hand. I can't tell you what you can and can't do with it, all right? So.
Oh, the night is dark and the sky is cloudy. Traveling on that lonesome road. My one true love waiting there to see me. Why that long old train won't you carry me? Oh, train, 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 won't you carry me home? Oh.
So, I mentioned earlier that his safe actually killed him, and what happened was he came into work early one morning, which was very rare for him apparently, and he forgot the combination for the safe. So what did he do? He kicked it, and then he actually broke his toe and left it, didn't do much about it, and then eventually he got gangrene, and they cut off his toes, still spread, cut off his foot, still spread, cut off it up to his knee, still spread. Over a period of about 6 or 7 years, I think, the gangrene kept spreading, and then eventually they couldn't cut any more off, and he died from gangrene, from kicking this safe, this exact one.
So they just took us up to the big coal silos where they showed us the whiskey dripping through for 2 days, I think, each drop, he said. Then he lifted up the lid and let us have a little whiff. Woo! Lawrence thinks it smells like gin.
It tasted like gin, hitting the back of my nose. It smelled like gin.
I think I'm already drunk and we haven't even had a tasting yet. So Lawrence, the single barrel whiskey for a whole barrel was only like $9 grand. Oh, can't I actually see us?
Between 9 and 15 grand.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to go in a whole barrel,
If we want to go in, we can bring it around campsites and like share drinks and stuff. I did ask if shipping was included. Apparently so. And we get a plaque on the wall.
Inside.
He did say that he might do that for a tenner. Thanks, Jacob.
I'm a rolling stone, bound to roam. Come the morning, I'll be gone.
At about 20 years old, Mr. Jack Daniels went on the hunt for the perfect water source. He was looking for a natural spring that was filtered through limestone. Jack, being a whiskey making enthusiast, knew that limestone filtered water was the best for making whiskey because limestone filters the iron out of the water.
In 1866, Jack hit the jackpot and stumbled upon a natural limestone spring whilst hiking through the forest in Lynchburg, Tennessee. This was the precise moment that Jack Daniels Tennessee whiskey was born. Jack began making his whiskey and very quickly had a seamless operation going.
Jack was a small guy, only 5'2". However, in most of the statues of Jack, he had size 7 shoes. This isn't because he was embarrassed, which he was, but because the statues needed a bigger footprint so that they wouldn't fall over.
Some of the key things that made Jack Daniels so special are:
every bottle is made here in Lynchburg, Tennessee, using the water from the cave spring hollow.
Every drop is filtered through 10 foot of homemade sugar maple charcoal.
Each wooden barrel is handcrafted in-house from 33 staves of American white oak. These barrels are never used more than once.
The Jack Daniels recipe, also called mash bill, features 80% corn, 12% barley and 8% rye. Once used in the whiskey, this mash is sold very cheaply to local farmers to feed farm animals.
Every barrel is stored in an unventilated storage shed for anywhere between 4 to 8 years. Over those years, in the summer, warm weather forces whiskey into the cracks in the wooden barrel, and in the winter it pushes it back out. This is how the whiskey gets its colour and flavour.
Jack Daniel's single barrel is also known as their top shelf liquor, not because it's on the top shelf at liquor stores, but because it was stored in the barrels at the top level of the storage shed. This meant that it got all the hottest air trapped in the storage shed, causing more expansion of the whiskey into the wooden barrel. This gives the whiskey so much of a smoother, spicier, premium taste.
As we said, in 1905, Jack kicked his safe because he couldn't remember the combination. After breaking his toe and not getting medical care, it became gangrenous, and after many failed amputations, gangrene eventually got the better of him 6 years later on October 9th, 1911.
After he died, he passed his legacy down to his 2 nephews, and it stayed in the family until the Brown-Forman Corporation acquired it in 1956. Even to this day, the distillery in Lynchburg employs around 650 employees, and many of them are local workers and are 4th-generation Jack Daniels employees.
There are 2 big unsolved mysteries about Mr. Jack Daniels. The first being that nobody really knows how old he is. He ran away from home when he was very young, and his birth records were burned in a fire. But it was estimated that he was born somewhere around September 1846.
The second is that nobody knows why he chose the lucky number 7, which is on every bottle of Jack Daniels and is the main focal point of the Jack Daniels brand. Jack was known as a bit of a playboy, and some say that it's because he has 6 girlfriends and his whiskey was the 7th. Others say he was a big gambler and number 7 was his lucky number, but who knows? It's safe to say that he took that secret to his grave.
Alright, Natalie, well, our day is over. It has been amazing. What did you think?
I really enjoyed that, actually. The tour was a bit boring, I'm not going to lie.
It was
the
amazing.
drinking was fun.
The tour was amazing. Some of the history, in fact, we'll overlay some of it, or you've already seen some of it, but yeah, it was. I found it fascinating.
I find this village interesting, like this old little town.
There is an old little town here that you can come and see afterwards. A lot of this is owned by Jack Daniels as well, so obviously they call this the Lynchburg hardware store. That's owned by Jack Daniels. You can tell as soon as you walk in. I don't think anything in there is not branded Jack Daniels, so that's cool. I did buy myself a baseball hat, but there is a lot of food places here. There's pizza places, barbecue places,
which all close at 6.
They all close at 6, so get here early.
Yeah.
But there is even a Harley Davidson store here. So that's very cool. And there's just lots of other things around. So if we'd come earlier in the day, it would have been cool to walk around here and go through all these stores. There's a candy store. There's actually a place that sells Jack Daniel's fudge, which we wanted to see.
Bacon chocolate.
And bacon chocolate, and
we missed the crack
cheese burger, which is like a cheese grilled burger, something like that. So we missed all of that. So if you come here, don't do what we did, get here early. But overall, this is fantastic. Love this. And there is a connection between this, and if you haven't seen it, go see our Tabasco video, because there is a connection between the Jack Daniel's distillery here in Tennessee and the Tabasco factory on Avery Island. And if you know what that is, you can comment below.
Oh, you're going to get them guessing.
I'm going to get them guessing.
I didn't know when he told us. I was like, wow, that's fascinating.
You know what I'll do? I'll do a video for our members telling them what it is, but comment below if you already know.
Okay.
If not, go join. Be a member, be a Braziere, and you'll get the answer.
Yeah.
But if not, we will see you next week.
Yeah.